Azzaro's Forever Wanted Elixir just might be the best designer fragrance release of 2025. They took the iconic Most Wanted DNA and made it smoother and, in my opinion, better. This one is bold, rich, and sensual, and it's a leather fragrance for people who don't like leather fragrances. If you want to know what I mean by that, stick around. YouTube family, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is doing well. My name is Ty, and here I primarily talk about fragrances, but we also sprinkle in some fashion and lifestyle content as well. So the primary purpose is to help you show up as your best self consistently, day in and day out, by looking good, smelling good, and feeling good. Y'all know the vibes, man. So do me a favor, if you're interested in those type of videos or that type of content, consider subscribing below, then make sure you hit the bell so you can stay notified anytime I'm posting any new content. And this one, of course, is a 2025 release, y'all. And Azzaro's Forever Wanted Elixir is categorized as a fruity, woody, leathery scent that features top notes of raspberry, green mandarin, and bergamot. And in the heart, you have clary sage, lavender essence, and cardamom. And in the base, of course, you have that leathery accord, also have vetiver and wolfwood. Now, that all sounds great, but what does this one actually smell like? And this one opens up, of course, with a blast of that raspberry. You do have the mandarin and the bergamot that's listed, but quite honestly, y'all, I don't really pick up on either of those. It's all about that raspberry, man, and it smells absolutely amazing, y'all. As it starts to dry down, the raspberry, I'd say, definitely does fade a bit, but almost immediately you start to get this warm spice, likely from the cardamom, that definitely makes this one feel and smell very familiar, right? So, of course, that Most Wanted DNA, you can kind of pick up on it, that warm, sweet, slight spice, definitely present in this one, but I think the major difference, for me at least, not quite as sweet, and that's something I'm so glad of. This one isn't quite as sweet, y'all. Like I said, it's refined, it's reined in, and then of course, in the far dry down, you get the addition of that leather. Now, the leather here is not one that's super aggressive or one that, in my opinion, is very difficult to pull off. I think this is a very wearable leather and actually a relatively versatile leather as well. And that's exactly why I say, y'all, this is a leather fragrance for people who don't like leather fragrances. And take it from me, someone who doesn't love leather fragrances. Yes, I own a few, have some in my collection, but it's very rare that I wake up feeling like, you know, I want to reach for a leather fragrance or I want to smell like leather, right? So leather has to be done in a certain type of way for me. It has to be wearable. And for me, this one is very wearable. I would compare it to things like Tom Ford's ombre leather, Byredo's black saffron. Those are two I have experience with that I do enjoy and I do find relatively wearable. But I would say this one, maybe even more wearable than those, right? Because I feel like where those ones go a little fresh, especially Tom Ford's, has that, you know, kind of violet, a little bit of a fresh kind of leathery feel to it. This one does have a bit of freshness, but I think that warm spice mixed with the leather just makes it that much more doable, that much more wearable. And the thing that I say about this one here is leather is here, it's present, you can smell it, but it's never the first or the only thing that I smell. And I can appreciate that. Okay, let's move into performance and versatility, and we'll start with performance. So I've been testing this one for the past week or so with about 4 to 5 sprays, y'all, getting pretty good performance. So I'm talking about an arm's length of projection. And then in terms of, you know, the sillage, very good as well. Not quite as loud as the EDP Intense or the Parfum, but no slouch either. And in terms of longevity, I've easily been getting that 8-9+ hours. So good on skin. I'd say, like I said, it definitely checks the box for performance. Now, in terms of versatility, I've been mentioning it a lot. I think this one is very versatile, especially with it being a leather fragrance. I think it for sure works fall, winter. I think spring as well. In terms of the occasions, just about anything. I think you could rock this one to school. I think it's perfect for, you know, date nights and night outs or celebratory situations. Wouldn't be my first choice for the office, but I think you can pull it off there as well if you're mindful of the sprays and the time of year. And overall, y'all, the vibe that this one gives me, quiet confidence. This one is quiet confidence, whereas the EDP Intense and the Most Wanted Parfum, a bit louder, a bit more in your face, sometimes obnoxious, I'll be honest, especially with the EDP Intense. Even though I love the scent profile and the DNA, It's one that I honestly can't wear because it makes me a little sick. Maybe it's because it's too sweet. Maybe it's because it's something that's in there. It kind of sucks because I actually like the way it smells, but I really can't wear that one anymore. Again, this one here, much more subdued, much more refined, put together, and like I said, I never really put an age on a fragrance, but I think people that are a bit older, I'd say 25 or maybe 30 and up, I think they'll appreciate this one a bit more when comparing to the other two. So all in all, this one checks the box for performance, is very versatile, and is one that will probably appeal a bit more to the older demographic just because it isn't quite as sweet as the others. Okay, moving into my final thoughts for Azzaro's Forever Wanted Elixir. I think this is a great fragrance, y'all. I think it's one of the best designer fragrance releases of 2025, at least so far, and it's already my favorite from the line. It's followed closely by, the Most Wanted Parfum. I do enjoy that one as well, but to me, this takes the cake. I think this is the best one. It's my favorite one. And if you're someone who does own, other fragrances within this line, I don't think it's redundant to own this one. I think it's familiar, but different enough where it's still justified purchase. So if you're someone like me who doesn't necessarily love leather as a fragrance note, but looking for fragrances that maybe feature leather just done in a certain way or are wearable or, just done right, highly recommend checking this one out. So, have you tried this fragrance yet? Leave me a comment below to let me know. Make sure you like and subscribe for weekly fragrance content. And if you're interested in some of my other favorite pickups from this year, check out this video.